Hello everybody, back for more, are you? What I assume you are back for is an explanation of what the hell is going on. Because I didn't quite explain it in my first video. After I uploaded it, it occurred to me, i.e. somebody told me, that I didn't really get at the very basics, as much as I said the word basic in the scintillating finale of the first video. The stuff I was talking about was oriented more toward people who have some small history with role-playing games or video games in general, but if you've never picked one up before, then there's still some stuff I need to cover that's simpler. But I'm actually glad that I did it in this order. This is actually a good thing, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to pretend that I did it on purpose. This is an avant-garde LP that opened in medias res. Deal with it. So, we already have 5 Pokemon under our belt. Literally under my belt, because you wear Pokeballs on your belt. We won't be getting any more until after the first significant battle of the story, and that will not be happening in this update. What is going to happen in this update is I'm going to train these Pokemon that I have in Viridian Forest, which is a task so arduous and time-consuming that it is called grinding. And what better way to fill the space than to expound and philosophize about the game, the world, the phenomenon that we are experiencing, man. Bro. So, as I may have covered before, in Pokemon, you are a kid, 10, 11, in a world where the plants and animals are magical, friendly, and violent. If you throw a sphere of technology at them, then they instantly become your loyal friend and will fight and die for you against enemies domestic and wild. And it's a sport in this world to have these fights and to train your Pokemon to be stronger and good at fighting. And we're going to become the champion of this sport. Not the world champion, we're going to become the regional champion. So the game takes place in what's called a region. That's how it's come to be known in subsequent games. This region is called Kanto, based on a place in Japan that has the same name. And it's got about 10 to 12 towns in it that don't have the same names as what they're called in Japan. And so we're going to be the champion of the region, which is good enough. You know? Sometimes you just got to learn to be satisfied with what you have. It's a pretty big achievement. I mean, we're only 10 years old. You can have a maximum of 6 Pokemon on your team for arbitrary gameplay reasons. I tried to record this before, and first I said you can have 4 Pokemon on your team, and then I said 5. I don't know in either case why I got it wrong, but I really couldn't believe it. It's 6, a half dozen. Now, what this means is your Pokemon are arranged into a team, not an army. You can't just send an endless stream of Rattata at your enemies and just chew them up like a bunch of army ants or piranhas or something. You only have 6. You can't use every Pokemon that's ever existed either. You have to choose carefully. You have to do some role compression. I mean, there are 15 Pokemon types in this game, so even if each one of your Pokemon had 2, you still couldn't have all the types. So, each Pokemon on your team has to serve a different purpose, play a different position. And they have to be able to work together. Because you don't want all your Pokemon to be vulnerable to the same strategy, or you'll meet an opponent with that strategy and they'll just crush you. We need them to be able to cover up each other's weaknesses and amplify each other's strengths. It's going to be a while until we really get to that point. Right now, all our Pokemon have one thing in common. They're bad. But that's okay, because this enemy is not very good either. Remember how I complained about how the wild cocoons, all they can do is harden their shell. They can't kill me. All they can do is just drag the battle out. Good riddance. Okay, and when we level up, our stats go up. Now, let me talk about, let's see, how the battle works. Let me get into another one real quick, although the encounter rate in Viridian Forest is very low. The encounter rate is the chance of when I step on a grass tile, that a Pokemon will appear. It's, you know, it's random. And the number is a little too low for my liking. When I was a kid, though, this actually built up suspense, because it's like, when will the next bug attack me? But now in the present day, of course, I realize that the bugs aren't really that threatening. But this creepy music really created a special effect back in the day. Okay, here we go. So, if you haven't figured out how the battling works yet, this is what we do. So, this is not a game like Mario where you have to jump on somebody's head or shoot them or kick them in the nuts or whatever. You're telling your allies to do that for you. This is a game of numbers and strategy. All the stats that I was talking about before are abstract representations of a Pokemon's intelligence, strength, dexterity, and stuff like that. I don't have to use my reflexes to win these battles. I have to use my leadership. So I select the attacks from a list. And a Pokemon can learn up to 4 moves. Most of mine right now have... Well, none of them have 4 right now, actually, because they're so young. Pidgey only has the 1. And so, 6 times 4, 6 Pokemon with 4 moves each is 24 moves. And from all that, you have to put together the strategy that's going to win you the match. Now, what you just saw was it's not really a move, but it takes the place of one called switching. I go to the Pokemon option there with the compressed letters, and I pick somebody else to send into the fray. This happens really fast. It happens so fast that the Pokemon you switch out doesn't have to take the attack that's coming, because switching always goes first, and the Pokemon that you switch in blocks the attack with its face. So, Caterpie takes no possible damage, well, not from this, because it's a Metapod, but if Caterpie switches out, there's no way that it can be damaged. It's Rattata that will take the attack, and that takes up your turn. The enemy gets a free shot at you. But switching can still give you a huge tactical advantage if you do it right. And the purpose of the switching here, you may wonder why I'm not fighting with Caterpie at all. Well, this is what's kind of called, let's see, I've seen it called the bait and switch. I guess that's how I think of it. I'm almost out of tackles here. So, Caterpie, the fact that I was able to switch out Caterpie meant that Caterpie was technically in the battle, even though it didn't do anything. It fled like a coward. But for good reason. So that means that Caterpie is tagged as an active participant in the battle. So even though Rattata is doing literally all the work here... Oh my god, I ran out of tackles. So Rattata's doing all the work, and Nidoran just gives the finishing blow, and Caterpie did nothing. However, the experience that Metapod gives, as you can see, is split completely evenly. So doing this is a great way to train a weak Pokemon, even though it's not going to do a goddamn thing. You just switch it out immediately to a better Pokemon, and then go crazy. Why is Rattata considered stronger than Caterpie by me, you ask? Well, that leads into a great question I received. Remember at the end of the last episode when I was whimsically and playfully arranging my team? Just let's reorder Nidoran's move there. I was arranging my team from worst to best, and I put Caterpie before Rattata. I said that Caterpie's worse than Rattata, and I got a question about that, because if you look in the status screen, which is the team screen, which is what I was in, Rattata's max HP was 15, and Caterpie's max HP was 16. So, what the hell is going on with that? I will explain it better after this battle, which is not going well because Nidoran right now has a similar problem to Caterpie. Perfect. Okay, so in the status screen, your health is extremely important, so of the very limited amount of information here, health is one of them. So that's what the 20 to 17, 11 out of 17, etc., that's what those numbers are. So we can see that Pidgey is missing 6 HP, so is somewhat injured. Nidoran is a little more injured, and you can even see that her sprite is doing its little animation just a little more slowly than the others. Can you see that? Can you see like the fluttering of the bobbing of the head here and the flapping of the wings? And then it's slower with the arms. So HP is very important, especially in this mode where I'm going to consider Pokemon to be permanently dead if they run out. But as far as all the numbers and factors that contribute to a Pokemon's efficacy, HP is just one of them. So while Rattata had 1 less HP than Caterpie, I consider it to be superior in several other ways. Actually, let's just take a look real quick. So we have 20, 8, 8, 11, 8. And at 1 level lower, Rattata's got better attack and speed. So that advantage will jump, and equal defense. So that's probably going to go up as well. Furthermore, as I said before, if your type of your attack matches the type of your Pokemon, you get a 50% damage boost. So this gives normal type Pokemon an advantage in the early game, which Rattata is. So if we look at so Caterpie, it says type 1 bug. And then we go to fight, his attack move is tackle, and it says type normal. That's not a match, so we're just kind of using regular old shitty tackle. And I think actually that's what we'll do. But Rattata is normal type, and so is Pidgey. And they both have normal attacks. So even though they're actually not very good, among all the not good Pokemon that I have right now, they're pretty good just in the immediate moment because they have that just flat boost. There's no way that they can't not have it. So it's just a little faster to let Pidgey and Rattata do the fighting. By the way, Bulbasaur, even though he's ostensibly my best Pokemon, he doesn't actually have a stab attack yet either. Stab is same type attack bonus, which is what we call this concept that I've been talking about. So the reason I'm not using Rattata anymore is also because you see this 24 out of 35 here, 40 out of 40. So that's your power points, or basically ammo. Each attack has its own supply, and I ran out with Rattata because fighting against these cocoons is so goddamn annoying. Remember how I said all they can do is harden their shell? Well, that increases their defense, so they take less damage as the battle goes on, and so it just takes a long time to kill them. In fact, I should probably just, like, here. Let's put Rattata up front, because it's only 1 experience point from leveling up. Oh man, all this talking. Good thing I have a glass of water. Alright. Okay, yeah, let's see if our level 5 Caterpie can beat that level 5 Caterpie. So, it starts at a draw because the Caterpie led with String Shot, which is... I mean, well, now it's going first, so I guess String Shot's cool, right? However, it's almost always better to attack, especially when we're in the Game Boy game and not, like, playing against a human being. There are some exceptions. And the opponent, if it's a wild Pokemon, makes its decisions randomly, so it has a half and half chances of using Tackle and String Shot. So that's why it's not killing me, even though it has the chance, and why I'm almost certainly going to win this battle. Okay, with that hit that did 4 damage, I would be very afraid of actually... Oh, I didn't kill him. Of continuing this, because if he hits me with Tackle and he gets a critical hit, remember how vividly I yelled in the last episode when I got critical, we could lose Caterpie right away. We're probably not going to get a game over if we lose Caterpie. Oh my god, he was faster. That could have been really bad. Alright, we better go back and heal. So yeah, expect me to mostly be responsible and switch out so the rule is, of course, if it looks like that 2 hits would kill me, I have to switch, because if they critical, that counts basically as 2 hits, and then we die. So here's how training works. You beat up the bugs until your team is weakened, then you run back here, you heal them up for free, and then you head back out there and keep plugging away. Let's see, we haven't learned any new moves yet. We at least have to show that. We hope to see you again. So just from that, we don't have any level 3 weaklings anymore. That's kind of cool, right? Alright. So, all those afternoons and nights and car rides of me with my Game Boy, or like at night, only being able to see what was going on for just the split second that the car passed under a street light. This is what was going on. I was walking around this forest trying to get attacked by something. I ran out of Pokeballs. You should carry extras. Yeah, you really should. So, maybe you figured it out, but Metapod is green, and so is Caterpie. They are related. At level 7, our Caterpie will become a Metapod. Don't worry, like I said, it will not be stuck hardening indefinitely. It will have tackle and screenshot still. And in future games, they implemented something that really should have been in this game, where the Metapod will learn how to harden as well. Alright, we still only have 1 move with Pidgey, but at level 5 it gets another one. Now you can only have 4 moves, but if you look up a Pokemon, it has a list of moves that it learns at different levels. If you have 4 already, and you learn another one, then if you want to learn the one that you're trying to learn, you gotta forget one of the ones you already have. Usually this is fine, because you learn better moves generally as you level up. So you're replacing weaker ones. But sometimes it can be difficult to tell. Alright, here we go. Watch. Ready? Sand Attack. Sand Attack is a very cheesy move. Now look, we've got everybody to level 5. So what Sand Attack does is it lowers accuracy. Accuracy is not a stat in the sense that attack or defense is. It's more like a condition. So by default, your accuracy is the same as that of whatever move you're using, like tackle is 95, scratch is 100. But if you lower their accuracy, then it applies a penalty to whatever the accuracy of their move was. So you hit that a few times and they just start missing everything, and then they get really, really angry, because then the battle becomes about luck. We will be shamelessly using this strategy if we have to. And we may have to. It actually makes Pidgey somewhat good in a tricky way. Sand Attack, by the way, doesn't do any damage either. But that's okay, it's still pretty fun and good. In fact, when I was a kid, sometimes I would just totally cheese the opponent, just like, even if I didn't have to, just Sand Attack them 6 times and just watch them flail helplessly. So, about stat boosts. So, Metapod's raising its defense here, and I can lower it with Tail Whip, but what's the point, because it's just going to harden again. You can do that up to 6 times. Or, I should say, up to 6 levels. There are certain moves that raise stats by 2 levels instead of 1. And it's a temporary boost. So it's not like it lasts forever. It's just for the battle that Metapod's defense increases or whatever. It increases by 50% of the original value for every stage. So when Metapod hardens, it has half again as much defense as it started out with. If it hardens twice, it has double its original defense, and so on and so forth. So after it hardens 6 times, and you've seen that because it only works 6 times, and that's when it starts to say nothing happened. That's when we're dealing with a Metapod with quadruple its original defense, and that's why it's such a pain in the ass. Now, another complication to this process is that I don't have any Pokemon that can kill the cocoons easily. The Pokemon that are available now that can easily kill the cocoons are Pikachu, Spearow, because it has Peck, which is super effective, Charmander, and Squirtle. I don't have any of those, and I'm not going to get any of them, so oops. Now, why would Pikachu be good against the cocoons, you ask? Well, remember when I was talking about defense versus special? Defense protects you from physical attacks, and special protects you from special attacks. I'm not going to evolve Caterpie in this episode. I'm just going to leave this here. Yeah, I'm not going to use you anymore. Pikachu would have an attack called Thundershock, which is an electric attack, and electric is special. So Metapod and Kakuna can raise their defense all they want. They're not going to take any less damage from Pikachu, so Pikachu can just wail on them. Spearow's Peck does get blocked by Harden, but because of the damage boost from flying being super effective against bugs, Spearow can just push through. We are just brute forcing through this, so I hope you're listening attentively and taking notes and stuff. Now, I'm playing on a emulator that has, you hit the spacebar and it goes turbo. I don't want to do that because it doesn't look very, it doesn't show mindfulness. Let's just put it that way. Also, it inaccurately inflates the in-game clock, so it'll look like I spent like 383 hours playing the game or something when really I did not. Otherwise, I would just hold that down as I did these battles. The risk is, of course, that I could just get confident and careless and get somebody killed somehow. And also, this normal speed, this is what I did as a kid. We're like an hour and a half into the game or something. No, not quite. It's a little over an hour. Let's see. Yeah, a little over an hour. And this is what I had to do as a kid. I had to walk around at this speed and wait for the battles to happen and then smash the Pokemon that takes forever to kill and then do it again. Let's get everybody to level 6, except for Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur's fine. I don't really need to use Bulbasaur this episode too much. Yeah, I've hit the big time for reasons that you will see. Although it would be nice if Bulbasaur could get himself to level 13. I'm not going to do that. Level 13 is when Bulbasaur finally learns its first grass attack. And it's not even a good one, so that's frustrating, but it does not matter. Nidoran also has a trollish aspect going on. So at level 8, Nidoran is going to learn Scratch. The basic attack that Charmander was using before. I think this is the only instance in Pokemon of a Pokemon learning 2 of the shitty basic normal attacks. And it's like, why? Like, yeah, Scratch is better, so I guess that's good. But like, why? The male gets Horn Attack, which is significantly more powerful. Sexism, I tell you. Alright, what else can I tell you? I talked about switching, I talked about battling, taking turns. Oh yeah, so maybe you've picked up on it. Remember how I said speed goes first? Well, you always get the same number of turns as your opponent, basically. Like, the battles go in rounds, and you take turns. And you get to go first if you're faster. Like this. Waboomski. It's such a huge advantage to go fast. To go first. To be fast. To all the combinations of those words. Hey, I got a critical hit for once. That's really cool. Rattata at level 13 is going... Well, I won't spoil it yet, because I kind of spoiled you on Bulbasaur and Nidoran, just because I needed something to talk about. But Rattata... I'm not gonna say anything else. Let's get Pidgey to level 5 and... Well, actually, I think I know what we need to do. Let's get in a trainer battle. Am I going to regret this? Okay, so, if you walk into the line of sight of a trainer, then you have to fight them. You can't say no. Eye contact is consent. Not even. Being visible is consent. So what happens is, you send your team against the entirety of their team. Luckily, their team is almost never as big as yours. And it's... You gotta kill them all. You can't give up. You have to bring them down to absolutely nothing. Okay, so this is our introduction to Weedle. I don't think we've seen one in the wild yet. Weedle's like Caterpie, except poisonous. Often this makes it better. At least on the front of just Weedle versus Caterpie, not necessarily between what they turn into. I am so afraid of poison that I am going to just have Bulbasaur deal with this. Bulbasaur is immune to poison because Bulbasaur is part poison itself, and as we will see, that did, well, not as little as I would like. Okay, so it said it's not very effective. That's actually not true. There's a glitch in this game where if an attack it beats one of your types and doesn't beat the other type, like it's resisted, then it tells you a weird thing. So it actually did neutral damage there, even though it said that it wasn't very effective. I'm only using Leech Seed so I can just stay healthy for this whole battle in case the next Pokemon's another Weedle. As you can see, I only get 1 HP back right now, because that's based on Weedle's max HP, which is pretty low because Weedle is one of the worst Pokemon ever. I don't want to say that and then lose. So at least Bulbasaur's not getting poisoned. Could you imagine the trouble that Pidgey would be having with this thing? Pidgey only has 19 HP. So Weedle is, even though he's controlled by a human being, he's still making really, really dumb moves. Because String Shot is not going to stop me at all. So look, I got attacked a bunch of times, but we can subtract one of them because I got some HP back from Leech Seed. Pidgey's level 6, that's good. And then we got Caterpie. Alright, let's do this. Because Leech Seed is really fun. It's more powerful in the future games. Let's see, who else do we want to... Not Caterpie, let's do Nidoran so we can heal Nidoran. That might be fun. So we can see we're only at 12 out of 23 right now, and that's an ouchie, but look. Hey, it's not as bad as it looks. Nidoran is also immune to poison because it's poison type. Oh wow, the critical hit did barely anything. So I have a fond memory of one of my parents seeing the animation of Leech Seed or an attack like it and was like, oh my god, they're attacking you again. Because it looks like, I mean, the circle of light went from Caterpie to Nidoran, so it looks like Caterpie's shooting something at Nidoran. But it's not. It's more like the life is being drained from Caterpie and going to heal Nidoran. Ooh, I'm living life on the edge here, kind of. This is kind of fun. But we got him. Oh, with a crit, too, for some extra sass. Hey, hey! Cool. Ooh, 2 level ups in 1 battle. That's really fun. And so we killed all of this bug catcher's precious animal babies. No, Caterpie can't cut it. Yeah, I could have told you that. At least that's realistic. It's not like he said, "What? Caterpie can't lose. I can't believe this." Alright. So, that's a trainer battle. Now, oh, shit. Did I... Wait a minute. Set. Yeah, okay. So, you'll notice that, they just sent out their second Pokemon at me. I have this option here that I'm proposing as a requirement for the hard mode. This battle style here, shift and set. So if it's set to shift, when you kill one of their Pokemon, it says, "Oh, they're about to send out this person. Do you want to switch?" Which is a huge advantage that we will not be affording ourselves, because we actually do want this to be somewhat, like, stressful. So I guess you wouldn't have noticed at all. You would have just thought that's the way it's always done. And it actually makes a lot of sense that it would happen that way, but no. By default, the game lets you switch. So you can always, almost always have the advantage. Well, I hope you understand the game a little better now. See you next time for some serious shit. Including our first battle in a Pokemon gym. I guess I should go over this. So, when we go to the 8 gyms, you fight the gym leader and you get a badge. And that's kind of how progress in the story is measured. These are the big benchmarks, the big checkpoints. And we're going to be going against the first one. I don't know why I'm saving again. It's force of habit, because at the Game Boy games, like physically playing it on the Game Boy, you couldn't save enough. If you got caught up in what you were doing, and your game got turned off, or you ran out of battery power, you were screwed, and you lost all your progress. So, one last review. Let's see, am I going to do the thing again? Yeah, why not? Let's order it like that. I'm not actually sure that Nidorann's better than Rattata, even with 1 level advantage, but it is 1 level advantage, we'll just leave it there. And, yeah, these two are pretty much interchangeable. We'll mix it up. Sand Attack is really good. Bulbasaur's still the leader. As we can see, that Leech Seed does have some value, even though it's pretty weak. Alright, I've already said goodbye like 5,000 times now, so see ya. For good. Not for good, just for now. Bye.